My memoir is a memoir I hope people will find of an interesting life. A life definitely of struggle at times and of hardship, also of joy and of connection to a working class community and the value and pride of growing up in a working class community. In my case, in the north of England, some decades ago. And it's a memoir that really overcomes a long held feeling of me and many people like me that the likes of us didn't write memoirs. We didn't really have a lot to write about. We didn't hang around with the rich and famous. We didn't fight in battles or pass legislation or win gold medals or anything of that kind. So my book's not an extraordinary out of the box survival against unbelievable odds. It's a story of the thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly even the millions who struggle to get somewhere through education, or sometimes actually even despite their education. It's a bit like a movie, really. It sort of zooms in on me a bit and my experiences, and then it zooms out to what the wider issues are, and then back a bit. And what the literature said about the time that I grew up in Britain was that we had a system of what was called sponsored mobility. That meant that very early on you tried to identify people who got something, you tested them, you picked them out, you separated them from the rest, and then you moved them on. You put energy into them, and you moved them on and up. And what the literature said at the time was that America wasn't like that. America had what was called contest mobility. So the idea was that you delayed the selection as long as possible. So even by the time people were finishing high school, they were all on the same starting line. They all had a chance. They all had a fair go. Of course, now it's, even if it was ever like that, because we've always had the different reading groups in elementary school. It's definitely not like that now. Now we have charter schools, and we have lotteries, and people move house to get to a better school on the other side of town. So America has this winnowing out as well, just as much as the UK has always done. Well, there's two kinds of grit, and I think one gets great coverage in the literature, but there's another kind of grit as well, which is not written about. And it's physically embodied in the region where I grew up. It's built out of millstone grit, out of rocks. When the wind blows, it will blow some of the grit away. This is the grit that the houses are made of. This is the grit that I hiked over when I was a child. And there's a sort of grit in your soul here. And some of it is about doer persistence and endurance, even under the most adverse circumstances. The other part of it is defiance. It's defiance in the face of unwarranted, unreasonable, and unjustified authority that is condescending, that is exclusionary, that is patronizing. It's defiance.